Whenever kinky people are in trouble, there is one who will heed the call.
Rev Mel. Rev Mel. Rev Mel.
Along with her artificial intelligence-enhanced potato, Rev Mel is the BDSM Night Rider.
I have a growth.
Welcome back to the Rev Mel Show on TalkingSexRadio.com with our guest Damien and our guest for the evening, Silventar, and he's got a little pussycat in his lap. Meow. So we're still talking about vampires. You got to give me the scoop. So what kind of vampire are you?
Well, I played the fifth on that, remember? I've got these other little charts, though, that since he went through the trouble of doing it, I figured it should give him more credit for it.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, though, all he probably really did was create the whole form, and then the people went and filled it out.
So where can people go online to get this?
It's posted all over the place. But if you want to go directly to his site, you can go to, just run a Google search for Atlanta Vampire Alliance. And you'll go to his site, and there'll be vampire research all over the place, Salcedo Incorporated. It sounds like a business. I don't know why it's a business. I don't know why everything's all copyrighted, too, by the way.
Well, even on Talking Sex Radio, everything's copyrighted, even though you can take it and put it anywhere. But, let's talk about something. When you discovered that you were, you had the vampire in you, okay, how did you nurture it, and how did you started with the girl, and she kind of brought it. Did you bite her neck? Did she?
That half of that personal stuff, I'm trying to keep to myself. I'm pretty much fine for general questions on other stuff. Mine or his?
Yours. Move it up.
Move it up.
No.
Better?
Yeah. In the good time.
Okay.
Oh yeah, put it on my other side. If you put it on the side here, then when you're talking to me, you can.
Oh,
hear
okay.
That's the reason why.
That's why he's the camera guy.
He is. He's got the vampire camera guy tonight. We gave him a play bag. It was great. We loved it. We got to give him a butt plug now.
Ooh, that's kind of scary.
Butt plugs are popular here. See.
It's a little one compared to the monster ones that you see in the novelty shops. But she's got one of those too, I bet.
Oh no, this is his little sister. So, and this is the long one. This is for people that are narrow.
Narrow.
Would they donate a bunch of them for?
And this is
for the large in charge person.
For the large one, yeah. That's the large one.
I guess if you can't hold it, that'll help you.
Woo! So, I don't think I could take this. I don't even think I could take this. But we're not going to talk about butt plugs again.
Yeah, I'm a heterosexual person, so
are you heterosexual?
I have no interest in anal sex with myself or somebody trying to do it to me.
Is there a lot of not heterosexual people in vampirism?
If you were going to go and bite into the Anne Rice thing, she would have you believe that everybody is bisexual or pansexual and mostly homosexual. Not usually in the case of most things that I've noticed. Most of the people I know are very straight other individuals. There's a few other that lean in the middle. Mm-hmm. There is a chart in there of that he did do. According to the people out of there, other 900 people, they basically put what they were. I didn't examine it that closely because it is only 900 people, and in high school I put together a bigger petition against people telling us that we had to wear a uniform. Than that. And I just don't understand how they should have so little, but...
Yeah, I did that too in high school. We weren't allowed to wear jeans or pants. And so the very first high school in the nation to have a walkout was Lakeshore High School in St. Clair Shores, Michigan, and 5 of us organized it in the 60s, telling you how old I am. But, I am a vampire. That's why I'm so young. My skin is like young.
I thought she was going to have a different color.
Dark hair?
No, I thought you were going to have a different color hair, because it looked like you were a multicolor hair person.
Oh no, because I have a red.
Yeah, there's a red color to your hair on the one on my side.
Yeah, it's a red wig. It was my pseudo persona, which I don't use anymore. But no, I let my hair go gray because I'm a vampire, and I like my hair gray.
Yeah, if I look at my other friend who's younger than me, he's very gray.
Yeah. So, I don't know what to expect. You guys must have parties, vampire parties that you go to.
There are a lot of above ground events and there are underground events, and most of the people that you're going to see like connected to this listing and to the Voices of the Vampire community are more above ground.
And that's like dance clubs and stuff like that. Is that all showy? Is it really showy? I mean, do they really honestly believe that they're vampires, or is it? I mean, these are very important questions to ask. Or is it just showy?
Well, a while back, I'll give you a little bit more of my history for one reason. For 5 years, I kept as much of my stuff possibly secret as possible. I told no girlfriends. I just told nobody. Kept it as granted certain things. People made comments and things like that. It's kind of like worse like that Once Bitten movie where he goes to the party, couldn't bring his costume, but everybody's all, oh, Mark Harmon as a vampire. Mm-hmm. Basically, some people had their suspicions, thought I was a little dark or a little this or that, or later on, I discovered I liked a lot more music, not just the music that I had been made to listen to like growing up, but goth music and everything like that. And of course, you discover that goth girls are a lot easier to get to.
But is vampire? I mean, is it just really goth? I mean, is there really a difference between
if you look
goth
in
and
there,
vampire?
and that thing, I did see that chart pretty well. There's like about 70% or something like that say they're not goth.
They're not goth.
Out of the 900 people that.
But they dress
did the
goth
thing.
and they look goth.
No.
You look like you had a question, Solaris. No. This is my producer, and she likes to ask questions every once in a while. She tries to hit me with questions, which
Well,
I was just turning around looking at Marciga because she is a goth girl.
She is a goth girl.
Supposedly she's easy to get to.
Well, in the case of the concept of who likes vampires more, you're going to think that the goth girl's going to like the vampires more or be into a darker thing in general. So when she comes and finds out, she might even actually be into kinkier sex than normal too as well. A lot of BDSM people are goth.
How come in the movies they, this pisses me off all the time, okay, about vampire movies in general.
I already got one statement for that, I think, already, if I think I'm
You know,
understanding what you're saying. Go ahead.
I can understand, okay, walks in, looks at her, he kisses her, whatever, then he goes and he bites her neck. And then you don't actually see them fucking. That bothers me.
Right on, Mel.
Well, it's a PG movie, and people buy it.
But, there's... Okay, could you imagine this? Okay. The mouth is here. The fangs are going in. The cock is deep inside. He's coming, she's coming, and he's sucking blood at the same time. That would be bliss.
Yeah.
Well, the idea is supposed to be the bite should be during orgasm, actually, ideally. There is other beliefs that certain things do flow in the blood during certain times. There is a release of endorphins during orgasm. So there is also a release of endorphins during fear as well, and some people will harvest whatever they can harvest technically that way. And I think even the psychic vampires will agree and will take that way in there as well, that the emotion that they're pulling.
So what give me a definition. I know nothing. I'm a person, we met at a dinner party or a party. I know nothing, and I'm going to ask you a very important question. What is a psychic vampire?
To the best of my knowledge, honestly, about... Sorry, I'm tapping your thing. Just be glad I bit my nails off.
So what is... is that someone... Remember, I know nothing, so I'm not going to even say what I speculate it is.
Like I was saying, honestly, back about 10, 15 years ago, I don't remember ever hearing anything about it.
Yeah.
I wasn't really like going online the way I'm going now and looking around the way I'm looking now, because actually before, if you would have asked me if they didn't drink blood, I would have just called them a wannabe.
Yeah.
And I would have basically said, well, this is where the split in sanguines and psychic vampires really splits. These people over here that don't drink blood think those people over there are copying myth or whatever, but there is always a basis in reality when it comes down to myth. You just have to decipher what was exaggerated over time.
See, I don't mind that you drink blood. I think it's cool. All of us probably here think it's really cool.
A large quantity of people would not and are actually ooey about it. Even a large quantity of people in the vampire community that are not sanguinarians are ooey.
I say, fuck you. Let's
But
do
see,
what we
now
want to do.
Well, the thing about this is when they go against the people who are primarily going to be understood or believed as vampires over the other people, they're negating themselves. You negate one to justify the other. It doesn't work that way. You have to justify both. Otherwise,
did you have a question?
Psychic vampires have their root in metaphysical history. So metaphysical lingo, so pagans, Wiccans, Astartans, and all that. A psychic vampire is an energy vampire, and they prey on the emotions of people, and they don't necessarily do it consciously. Some do, some don't. But they, if let's say you're in a social setting and the room's going great and you're having great energy and everybody's conversing, blah blah blah. Somebody walks in, totally unbeknownst to the whole room, and the energy just goes to crap.
Oh, I've experienced that.
That's a psychic vampire.
actually, I would call that an asshole.
Well, but I'm saying without saying anything, they just walk in, and within minutes, without saying anything to anyone, you can feel the energy drop in the room.
Yep.
That would be an instance of a psychic vampire. A psychic vampire is rather than draining blood, they drain blood is energy.
Yeah.
Blood is our life energy, in my opinion. So they're just draining another form of energy.
They're taking from the ambient energy in the room and actually. Where they're supposed to be taking it from the individuals. Some require contact, some don't, from what I understand.
Yeah,
Right.
There's times when I meet people and
some people are just downers,
and when they're
not necessarily psychic vampires. They're just downers.
Right. Well, some psychic vampires are not necessarily. That's an extreme example. But
can there be a positive psychic vampire?
Totally.
Someone
for example, and she won't come on camera, but my wife, I'll bleed her. I consume her blood. But I also drain her energy through biting too, without drawing blood. So I can make her, I can bite on her and chew on her, and she can just totally just slump over, completely drained of energy, feeling great.
Yeah.
But completely drained, like having just post orgasm, for example. You get that kind of a feeling, or she gets that kind of a feeling out of it. I think. She does.
She's shaking her head like, yeah.
And to a degree, this one here does too.
Yeah.
So
I've seen you go at her neck, or both of them, and not your wife. I haven't seen you do that in public with her, but I've seen you do it with the little subby of the week that's sitting there. Yeah, it's there's certain people that you meet, and when they're there, it's just like the energy is just like you feel wiped.
Well, some of them are supposed to be beneficial, actually draining, because sometimes if you have an excess of energy, they're supposed to be able to clear that, and a lot of that's supposedly also done with like tension.
So it's like healing. It could be a healing energy, psychic energy.
According to that thing right there, there's a degree of people who utilize their energy work within their massages and things like that to correct whatever imbalances or other things that are going on as well.
I work with the chakra system, so I understand all the difference of the 7 different chakras and all the energy work that goes with it and all the colors that are associated with it and all the sounds that, because the chakras have sounds, color, and taste and everything. So maybe I'm a psychic vampire. I am pale.
Maybe you're a hybrid.
What's a hybrid? I got it right here, but I didn't.
It's right in there, and it's supposed to be the combination. They're supposed to be Sang Sai.
I want to be a hybrid
because a large
sexual
quantity.
one.
Well, in theory, the sexual vampire is also a psychic vampire. Yeah. They derive their energy through the sexual act. That's how they.
I used to do that
release.
I used to do that when I was in my 30s. Never mind. So what's a hybrid again? I'm that.
It's a Sang Sai vampire, or half and half. Basically, they consume blood and they consume energy, or vice versa, or they can.
Yay! I'm Sang Sai.
You're hybrid.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
It's not like getting a hybrid car where you save on gas.
A lot of times, without any direction or any knowledge, a lot of people that are blood fetishes, they're like, well, we're not vampires, because a lot of people give them that name and they'll be like, it's kind of like a stigma. There's some people that I've known in